Hello, and welcome to another newsletter from Construction Programs and Results. I'm Michael Stone, and I will be sharing our newsletter with you. Have you noticed how many distractions are floating around out there today? And the international news is about Russia and the Ukraine and China and a whole bunch more stuff. And the national news is about COVID-19 and the weather and climate change and what have you. Now, where does that leave you? Distracted, maybe? I just want to remind everyone that your focus needs to be on the things you can control, like your business. Don't waste your time and energy fussing and worrying about things over which you have no control. Focus, my young friends. We also want to remind everyone that we will be doing 2 classes at the JLC Live Show in Providence, Rhode Island on March 25th this year. We hope to see you there. And be sure and say hello if our classes are on your list of educational classes to attend at that show. The following week, we will be conducting another Sharing Ideas session online. Thursday, March 31 at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time is the date and time. Our prior attendees tell us that these sessions are time well spent with lots of good information on how to run your business. We hope you will join us. Now, our newsletter. Quality standards. In residential remodeling and renovation, it's not unusual for your client to have an unrealistic quality standard. Imagine that. That's why you need to establish the standard ahead of time using the Residential Construction Performance Guidelines from the NAHB. We received this note from a contractor asking about quality standards, and he wrote, "Hi Michael and Devin. First, I want to thank you both so much for the 2-day intensive workshop that you put on a while back. It was absolutely fabulous, and I reference it at least once a day with my team in one form or another. Thank you. A quick question for you both. In our contract, we currently reference the Residential Construction Performance Guidelines, 5th edition, from the National Association of Home Builders, as a guideline for our punch list items. What verbiage can we use in our contract for items that do not fall within this guidebook? Example, currently we are working with a client, and the client has said that the bead of silicone on the vanity countertop where it meets the tile backslash is too wide and is requesting to have it redone. Naturally, we aim to please, and we want a happy client. However, there are limitations to anything. And in our efforts to try to create a tight bead of silicone during the tooling process, it widens. This is a very minor issue, but it got me thinking about specific verbiage in our contract to include areas outside the performance guidelines, especially when it pertains to the client's opinion of how something should look, as well as a way to prevent us from redoing items on the job site that would otherwise be considered perfectly acceptable." That's the end of his note. He goes on with a few other comments, but his point is well taken. We have all run into the gray areas in our contracts, and if you can prepare for those gray items, up front, it makes your life and the job run so much smoother. I'm a firm believer in using the Residential Construction Performance Guidelines from the NAHB to set the quality standards for your projects. What you're asking for, addressing how something looks, doesn't have a standard. It's subjective because we all see things differently. I wouldn't paint a house purple, but there used to be a purple house down the street from us. In my opinion, the only resort you have with a disagreement about something not covered in the guidelines is including an arbitration clause in your contract, which it should have anyway. There's a link in the notes to this article on our website, and there I've included some language from our Fast Track Proposal Writer software program that covers gray areas. This is just one way to handle the wording, and one line states, if necessary, a neutral third party with knowledge of the construction practices implemented on this job will be brought in to interpret the standard of quality for the work in dispute, and both the owner and the contractor agree to abide by the third-party decision. Now you can add a name or a company as the third party who is essentially participating as a neutral arbitrator. If you're going to do that, be sure you check them out carefully before calling them in to settle any questions or quality of disputes. That language addresses quality standards specifically. We also include some language that addresses arbitration in our article posted online. You want to specify arbitration, not mediation. I won't go into the details here because we covered that topic in another article on our website titled Mediation or Arbitration. That's also linked below. There are any number of different ways you can cover the gray areas in your contract. Whatever language you choose to use, be sure and review the language with the client before they sign your contract. You want to build quality jobs and have satisfied clients, but you won't make everyone happy all the time. It just isn't possible. Accept it as a cost of doing business. Move on. Thanks again for watching, and may the profits be with you.